Okay, let's go ahead and get started there, everybody. Welcome back to another, well, YouTube stream, although right at this moment in time... Okay, yeah. I'm just trying to confirm with Blackheart that there's not going to be any Unreal today, so... sorry for being late. Well, I guess if there's not going to be any Unreal, then let me switch on over to some Pega then, because I haven't, you know, um, I need to continue with that anyway, right? So, um, I have this typically 1 hour slot, typically reserved for, some form of, you know, programming development. Obviously, you know, typically time slots are set for a, um, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. PST um, for Pega certification studies. Then we have 2 to 3 p.m. PST for Unreal Engine studies. And then we got an hour after that um, um, for just video uploads and taking care of other matters. Just chatting. I basically put it at, and then of course we got gaming afterwards, which tonight will be Warframe. So okay, but if that's the case, then let me go ahead and switch on over to my Pega scene collection. So be right back. Let me switch on over. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna go and close that down. Don't need that anymore. So let me go ahead and get this live. There we go. We'll make this into a Pega video instead of the typical Unreal video. So, welcome back to another. Well, actually, hold on. There is one thing that I do want to do. Hold on. If that is the case, then I'm going to be switching on over to Pega certification. Then let me go ahead and change the title of today's stream into Pega certification studies, chatting, and then Warframe. There we go. And then it's still set for science and technology, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, okay. And it's all good there. Okay. Hmm. I'm not quite sure why my description does not get updated for the live version here. Um, hmm. Let's see. Hmm. Because my basic infos has been changed around, so it should have newly updated descriptions, but it's not doing that. I'll have to look into seeing why um, my live descriptions are not updating to my current settings, so not sure what's going on there, but all right. Well, I'll have to worry about that at another time. I'll worry about that in an hour or so. All right, let's go ahead and get back into the Pega certification. Apologies for anybody that's coming into this video and going, wait, this is your Pega version? What's going on here? Apologies for that. So yes, this is, I'm going to change this into Pega certification studies. Um, I'm your host, Transfer Jim. And um, the idea here is that I'm going through all of the mission for the system architect, so that I can learn as much as I can, so that I can take the certification myself, um, you know, and attempt to pass the certification and, be able to put that on my resume so that, you know, I can start applying for Pega environment jobs myself. Um, my attempts to find work through just normal means, through just putting down that I had a background in Java and C through college. The fact that you know uh, I've had one job that pushed me towards learning Cold Fusion. Never worked with Cold Fusion prior to that job. And the company that I worked for said, you will learn Cold Fusion and help this client out. Okay, done. I did it. I learned it. I worked on what they needed me to work on, and I got everything that they needed to do done. Why they didn't keep me for longer than that, I don't really know, but they didn't. So, um, you know, Nevada is as an at-will state, so they don't have to give you a reason why they are firing you, so or laying you off. Um, yeah, it's more laid off than fire because fire has a more of a negative connotation as though I did something completely wrong, which I didn't, or you know, I didn't do anything that warranted a fire. That hence the reason why they just said, "Hey, we're gonna lay you off. We're not gonna renew your contract," as the terms that they said. Same thing happened with my most recent job that tried to teach me Pega and the Pega environment certification. We, um, we had a authorized training partner on my last job um, that was given to about 20 of us in a group to try to learn how to work with the Pega environment. However, it did not go very well, and the majority of us, if not all of us, had gone pure self-study. We got tired of his instructions because he was messing up. He wasn't answering our questions. He blamed our computers versus the Pega environment. It was just a train wreck through and through. Um, and now you might say, well, it's apparently it's just your fault, not the authorized training partner's fault. Well, that's the thing. Um, he messed up so much that even he messed up what he gave his coworkers that were meant to try to test us on the material. So even they were aware of how bad it was. So, um, yeah, we asked to be put back into another training cycle with a different authorized training partner, so that we could learn Pega properly, but they didn't do that. They pushed us directly out into contract. And I had hoped that, hey, if I'm out on a contract, maybe I'll get a proper mentor that will teach me everything that I need to know about Pega. And well, that didn't happen either. Um, it was basically put on my shoulders once again to try to learn the Pega environment myself. And well, I didn't do that. I didn't take the time. So that's on me. Okay, I will admit that I did not continue my studies to try to get a certification for Pega at the time, and so um, I was looking for support, didn't get the support, and well, but at the end of the day, because I didn't do the self study enough, you know, I didn't get the certification. So that that's on my shoulders. So, but know that I'm not an authorized training partner, and this is not meant for non-instructor-led training. So if you're thinking that I'm some form of major instructor on this, then well, I'm sorry to say you're gonna have to um, you're gonna have to remove that line of thinking, because I am not. I'm working towards getting my system architect certification. Um, So I'm not an instructor on this. I'm just going through the missions to learn what I can, ask questions where I can, and learn as much as I can before I take the certification myself. I welcome you to join me on this. Ask questions yourself if you're not really understanding the material. I will try my best to answer them if I can. If I cannot, then I will go back to my past coworkers and ask them about it. So don't feel like um, you're not going to get, you know, you know. I hope, because of me putting these videos out, that I'm helping someone else out. If that's you, then please speak up. I'd love to hear back from you about this, and you know, let me know about your progress. You know, have you already taken the certification? Have you already passed it? Just put it in the chat, or leave it in the comment section. But um, that's who I am. That's what these videos are kind of all about. Um, I hope that members of the Pega community, managers, leads, um, training partners, instructor-led training, and instructors, maybe they'll check out my videos and help answer some of my questions that I've had on some of the topics, because there are points where I'm like, wait, what are they talking about here? It's not all of them, but still, I've had my fair share of confusion about this. Um, Now, if you're here for business architect, that's already done. We've already covered all the business architect, the 2 missions and 2 modules for Pega Platform 8.7. So if you're trying to go for your business architect, that's already on my playlist. You can, um, I've been including it into my description lately for the playlist, or just go to my channel, look at for the Pega certification playlist. I did the 2 missions and 2 modules in order, so um, you can just start at the very top of the playlist and go straight on down, and you'll be able to get through the 2 missions and 2 modules of the business architect mission there. And good luck for your studies on that. I would recommend, though, before you click away, the 2 modules here are supposed to be all about the Pega Express delivery, but I don't feel like these 2 modules covers enough. So I would recommend that you take the Pega Express delivery mission, go through it, learn as much as you can about it, because it's 12% of your overall grade on the certification. So you need to know what the Pega Express delivery is all about, if you want to pass your business architect certification. Um, Now, um, huh. So I'm doing 8.7 because, there was some translations for 8.7, and I figured, hey, that might be very helpful for people to learn as much as you can, from my, reading through the missions and the like. So, maybe you can get some decent benefits out of it. Did not expect to see that they skipped over 8.8 in terms of translations and went straight to 23. Did not really expect that, but I mean, it is what it is. So, um, so if you're like, on 23 or higher, then sorry to say, but we're going to continue with the 8.7 journey here. Um, just know that, um, this is still, I should, you should still consider it useful because even if the terms might have changed since the last time, in like there might be some changes. Okay, there probably is some changes from 23 to from 8.7 to 23, right? But just know that there's people out there in the workforce that have certifications in 8.6, 8.7, 8.8, whatever. Okay, so know that you, if the terms change, you're still probably going to be dealing with people that are that have learned it in, previously, and the terms might have changed over the years, and therefore you're going to have to um, deal with that. Deal with that change over time. Okay, so because it's not going to be perfect. When I took the certification exam myself, the one and only time that I took a certification exam, well, I mean, I wasn't ready when I was doing that. I was already um, fully into the self-study at that point in time, and I had not covered all the topics. I knew that I was going to fail, but they forced me to take it anyway. Um, there was Pega 7 questions in the certification exam. So bear in mind that there's probably going to be older questions in their database um, that they're going to pull from, and therefore you're going to need to know, some of the old um, keywords as well. Okay, you know, um, just be aware that that's you know, don't be afraid to look at, some of the old content as well to learn from that. Because not only will you most likely see it on the certification, but you'll most likely be talking with individuals at work that are going to be using those key terms as well. So, be prepared, you know, along those lines. So, but we're very close to the end for the system architect certification, or very end of the mission for the for 8.7 here. Um, we just have this, this one module, this last challenge, and then we have the mission exercise and mission test. So, and that's it. That's all that we have left on in terms of the Pega. After that, I'm probably going to be looking at um, mock exams, talking about the certification test a little bit more. Well, I mean, I've already kind of talked about it on occasion, but you know, um, I'll probably kind of keep on hitting home about that over and over again. So, um, but we're gonna keep on working on trying to learn as much as we can. Try to look back on, look at other subjects. Try to cover over, some of the topics that I found challenging, um, and we got to get ourselves prepped as much as we can for the certification test. So, So yeah. Now, let's go through the configuration sets here. Creating and setting application variables here. So configuration sets, configuration settings provide developers with a unified framework for customizing parameters for application behavior. The settings are organized into configuration sets that associate the settings with a common element such as an application. Um, Such as an application feature or a specific case type. Configuration settings and configuration sets provide low-code options for controlling application behavior. Configuration settings minimize the need for rule overrides and custom rule changes to help deliver applications that are easier to maintain, update, and deploy. Minimizing custom rule overrides shortens time to market and reduces the chance of introducing bugs or other issues during client development. You can use configuration settings in the following ways. 1. Control the use of features in an application. When a feature has dependencies, you can configure configuration settings to turn features off during the dependencies until the dependencies are met. For example, sending emails is often an action available in many processes. If an email integration has not been completed or must not be used in a specific environment, you can use a configuration setting to disable the feature. 2. Determine which process in a flow should be followed. If an approval is needed based on a monetary limit, for example, you can use a configuration setting to maintain the monetary limit amount so that the number can be changed without modifying any code. Um, um, hmm. Is it me, or did they not really address that particular topic very well? Maybe it's just me. Um, but I mean, it doesn't seem like the example that they're giving here is really highlighting this very well. I don't know. Control UI experience. When an agile development methodology is used, process changes are introduced with each release. You can use a configuration setting to control the display of instructions for a process change in an existing process or for new processes. Once users adopt the process, you can update the configuration setting to hide the additional instructions. That's not, that doesn't feel like it's talking too much about the controlling the UI though. Hmm. I don't know. Maybe I'm just looking at this a little too much. With a too much of a fine tooth comb or something like that. It's like, wait. Hmm. Um. One would figure like, you're controlling the UI experience. Like maybe you are going to do something where you are going to remove a particular form because maybe someone answered a question that you don't really need to worry too much more about. So you're just basically going to say, okay, well, we don't need to use this form if you've said yes here or something like that. That would seem like it would be more along the lines of a control UI experience. So hiding additional instructions doesn't, I mean, the still user interface, because you're showing like new instructions or whatnot, but you know, it doesn't feel like you're controlling the full experience that you might need to do. So I don't know. Let's go over a note. In previous releases of Pega platform, dynamic system settings (DSS) provided the dynamic behavior functionality. Configuration settings should replace DSS to provide enhanced functionality and simpler maintenance. Okay. To access configuration sets and navigate to the configurations landing page by clicking configurations on the settings tab of the App Studio. In the following image, click the plus icons to explore the configuration landing page. Okay, so manage configuration sets, view and add configuration sets by using the configuration sets window. Okay. I guess, with the preview that should still work. Yeah, okay. Add configuration. Add configuration settings by using the add configuration window. Application settings must specify an existing configuration set. To add or delete a configuration setting, the applicable configuration set rule set must be unlocked. The rule set does not need to be unlocked to update a configuration setting. Okay, right, that's the add configuration right there. Gotcha. See what's new. What is new? The What's New link provides a list of audit records for all configuration settings in an application. Audit records can be included in the migration progress, so changes can be promoted. When configuration settings are migrated, the target system also receives the audit history to identify when changes are made. Each audit record has a status badge with one of the following values: new, the default configuration setting status. A setting remains new until it is updated. Updated, the status changes to updated when the configuration setting is changed. And deprecated, the status changes to deprecated when the configuration setting is deleted. So, so there's the new there. So, okay, let's go over to this one next. Grouping. A configuration set provides a logical grouping for settings. For example, feature configuration sets may be created for AI, search, and collaboration. Configuration sets related to business functions may be created for opportunities and tasks. Expand or collapse the table by grouping. Configuration sets is the default grouping. So, different configuration sets, collaboration, insights, integration, opportunities, and then various values types below that. So, group. A setting are grouped by configuration set by default. Okay, that's yes. Looks like that's about it there. Alright. Um, probably would have liked to have seen like a little bit more here, like um, well, I don't know. I mean, I guess there really isn't that much that can be said about it. You know, um, maybe they should have talked about what it's used for and not saying, oh, hey, we just set it to configuration set by default. It's like, well, you know, what what do you like using this for or something like that. That might have been a little bit better, but whatever. Um, it's 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 typically considered um, something along the lines of you're basically considering the fact that um, it should already be known what it is meant for, but at the same time maybe um, maybe an instruction as to why it's there might be helpful as well. Meaning the fact that sure, they say like, hey, we're grouping everything up by the configuration sets that they're included in, right? Well, um, they basically say like, hey, well, you know, configuration set could be part of the configuration name, so you know, it might not necessarily be part of the configuration set. Maybe they're just saying let's group everything up based off of the name that we applied, which is a little odd. I don't know how they would be able to group up by name, because if your configuration name is different each and every single time, then you would think that you wouldn't necessarily see it, or you wouldn't necessarily see very little groups. You'd probably be seeing like a lot of groups. So I don't know. That seems like a kind of a waste in the grouping for configuration name. Um, Description is again same problem. Type I could see, right? Because you have multiple um, configurations that are have similar types, right? Like Boolean, date, this, integers, so on and so forth. So that I can see a decent grouping for. Um, Value, why? This should be as um, um, this might be just as um, unique as the configuration name and description. So um, this might be a poor grouping metric. I mean, you know, the Boolean um, might have like different values. Although why it has calculated here in the value for a Boolean, I don't really know, but whatever. Um, and then of course the update date, which I mean, to be fair, you might have some that are released on the same date and therefore can be grouped together. That might be okay. Might be a little odd, but might be okay too. So, we move on though. Development. Configuration sets are created and maintained in App Studio to group configuration settings. Rules such as classes, data pages, and properties are created when developing configuration sets in App Studio and are visible in Dev Studio. The rule sets applied to configuration sets are derived internally from open rule sets available to the application. Configuration settings are data instances of the data configuration settings class. When a configuration set is first created, it will not appear in the configuration landing until it has at least one configuration setting. Okay, in the following image, click the plus icons to explore configuration setting attributes. Okay. I don't know why they are really worried about this, but I mean, I mean, all they needed to do was just say, bracket max length 64 characters, end bracket on the other side of the name there, and they would basically do everything that they're saying here. So sometimes it's better to show, not tell, but description is a text string to capture the purpose of the setting. You don't say. It has no max character length. Are you sure about that? I'm pretty sure that at some point in time there will probably be an ending to this description. Pretty sure. Because no one will ever have basically a infinite size description. So, I mean, they're going to be very, you're going to hurt yourself if you don't cap it at some point. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't expect any dev to be running an entirely full, like, um, um, War and Peace novel in the description, okay? Um, or, some other, like, they're not going to put in a full novel into the description. That's obviously, um, that would be absolutely asinine if they were to do something along those lines, right? Um, but to say that it has no max character length, you're setting yourself up for some real pain there if that's the case. Okay, configuration setting, configuration set. So it provides a drop-down list of available configuration sets. Okay. Um, they're not really showing you a, well, you do have an add configuration, but no, that sets, that adds a configuration for the configuration setting. How do you create a configuration set? Because I don't see that. Maybe here in the preview, which seems very odd. You know, why would you need to bring in the preview set when you could just basically say, give another button here saying add configuration set. That I don't know. Well, previews where you make the configuration set, and then if you're wanting to add additional configuration settings, then you'll want to do the add configuration after that. So just bear that in mind there, folks. So configuration scope. View a drop-down list to specify application or case type the configuration setting is associated. Okay. Understandable on that one. Type, Boolean, okay. Select the field type for the configuration setting. If a pick list is selected, values for the pick list must be entered. Okay. It'd be kind of nice if they actually showed that a little bit. Default value. Provide the default value of the configuration setting. When this type is a pick list, the default value is selected from the pick list. For other types, the setting value must be specified. The value can be derived from a decision table or a constant value. Advanced ID. This value is the name that is used to generate the property rule. The default value is the setting name and does not need to be modified. Does not need to be modified, but it can be modified. So if you want it, if for some reason the name that you're putting down for some reason is the same as like another, like if we're using auto age resolution like multiple times for some unknown reason, then maybe you want to do like auto age resolution underscore customer form or something like that, something, right? So um, don't automatically assume that that's going to be the best overall name for it. So okay. Configuration settings are role-based access controls, RBAC, to grant access for the standard administrator, manager, and user roles. The following table shows the default access for each role. So administrators have the rewrite and delete possibilities for both the configuration sets and the configuration settings. So sure, okay, sounds good. Users have just the read property. They cannot write or delete in the configuration sets or configuration settings. So managers have the write ability, meaning that they can create a new configuration set, they can create a new configuration setting, and then they can also read both of those as well, but they cannot delete according to this. So an administrator can update access so that users and managers can write and delete configuration sets and settings, but it might not be in your best interest to do so. So, bear that in mind. Configuration sets are defined in the Pega configuration class structure and included in the deployment file that the product rules generate. The name of the set is maintained as the PY label value of a class rule and has a maximum length limit of 64 characters. Configuration settings are included when the include associated data checkbox is selected during the product file creation. Okay. Okay, referencing configuration settings. You can reference a configuration setting through the application with the condition builder. The condition builder provides a menu to select a configuration set and configuration setting. In the following image, click the plus icons to explore how the condition builder references a configuration setting. So first, you want to add to workflow. Configuration settings can be added to a workflow decision. Set conditions. In the set conditions list, select configurations, select the desired configuration set, and configuration setting. Which it doesn't really. Oh, No, I guess it works. I was about ready to say like where's this set conditions? Well, it's right there, Jim. um, so it works. Add to win list. To use a configuration setting in the win list, select custom condition and then click the gear icon. Okay. Um, so here's the problem with this is like, what does it show? Is it gonna show this configure condition window? Maybe you should mention that. I don't know. We move on. All standard roles can read, write, and delete configuration settings. False. Only the administrator should do that. User and managers, have their own settings, but they do not have the delete in that particular question. So now, if you were given this question on, say, like the certification, like um, the user's role allows for read, write, and delete, then you'd be able to go, well, no, that's not correct. If you were given a question saying like the manager has the read and delete function, then again you could basically say no, that's not correct. They have a read and write, but not the delete. That kind of thing. So it's one of those things where it's like, you know, you might need to you might need to make sure that you are familiar with the configuration settings, what the users can do, and so on and so forth, because you might actually experience it on your certification exam when you take it. So be ready for that. Hey there, Lucky. How you doing? Welcome back to the stream. How's your day been? Okay. So let me go ahead and move on to the module quiz, and then we will go ahead and end our Pega stream on this part. So we got ourselves a little bit of a module here. So what's Pega? You've been well? That's nice. That's good. The Pega environment is a low-code programming environment. Um, it's built off of the Java programming language. So if you are into programming, this is just one of the other programming um, environments, languages, IDEs that you can learn from. My last job involved the Pega environment, but I was never able to get my certification, so that's what these videos are meant for. That um, I'm trying to go through their academy that they put up, their documentation, um, so that I can try to get a better understanding myself about it, so that when I eventually do take the certification exam myself, then I'll be able to hopefully pass it, get the certification, and apply for jobs with the Pega environment in mind. So, so if you're interested in programming, the Pega certification playlist that I have might be something that you might be interested in. That's if you want to, though. Okay. It is not aligned. If you're thinking, hey, is it like maybe something to do with like, okay. From what I understand, the Pega environment is used by, well, I mean, it's not cheap, for one thing. And it's meant to just kind of make things easier for whoever makes it and, uses it, right? But it's not really used in, or at least I have not seen it used in any form of game development. It'd be probably the worst form of game development tool that you could ever use, so don't consider it as along those lines. It's more used for like administrative for the most part. So at least for now. But okay. I've been okay. Can't say that I've been fantastic, but I can't say that I've been, I'm in the lowest of lows either, so I'm okay. So, which two items are required for a configuration setting? Okay. You must know the name of each user who needs access? No, you don't need that. You must select the include association data checkbox in the relevant Pega configuration class structure rule. Ooh, I think that was one of them, yeah. Um, there must be an existing configuration set. I think so. All users must receive access to configuration sets. That might also. Hmm. The reason why I'm kind of I'm okay. So these last two here. Um, the third one there must be an existing configuration set. I don't think I read anywhere that there has to be a configuration set made or for you to create a configuration setting. Um, it might be in your best interest to create a set so you can put the configuration setting into it, but I don't think there's really any need to have a set to create configuration settings. So I don't think the third one is correct. The fourth one is one that I feel is correct, even though, uh, I really don't like the idea of like giving everybody full access to everything in configuration sets. Now, they did mention the fact that, users can read, managers can read and write, and administrators can read, write, and delete configuration settings. So, um, each those three have access to, even though technically they don't have like full power over those configuration settings, right? So, you're not saying that users have the ability to delete. They just have access to read them. So that's why I feel like both of these are probably the correct answers. So let's check the feedback. And, oh, okay, well, they said no on that last one. Of course. Um, hmm. I'm a little concerned about that answer though that they're providing. Here, hold on. Let's go back real quick. I wanna see this. Um, um, Configuration settings use role-based access controls to grant access for the standard administrator, manager, and user roles. Okay. Um, let's see. I'm not seeing anywhere about how they don't allow for all users. So this might be another one of those like trick questions that they don't even talk about. Um, let's see, all users. Okay, they don't talk about all users in this particular topic. Um, hmm. I'm not seeing anything here right at this moment in time that basically says that it doesn't matter about, you know, um, the fact that like, hey, we're not allowing for all roles. It's like you're not really addressing that in this topic right at this moment in time. And that's why I have a problem with these questions because they're not providing the key details for the questions later sometimes. And well, you miss the question because they don't actually outright state it to you that, hey, you know, you know, you know, uh, you don't have to worry about all users or user roles. It's like, but um, it talks about how you grant access for the standard administrator, manager, or user roles. Um, I mean, that pretty much covers a wide swath of roles right at this moment in time. Now, they don't outright state, like, hey, you know, if you create a brand new role, you don't need to actually give them access. They're not stating that outright. So it's like, that's why I'm having a problem with this because it's like, um, you know, make sure to say what you mean there, guys. Um, because this is a bit problematic. Let's see. Yeah, I don't see anything here concerning the problem of like, hey, we don't care about like, other roles. It's like, uh, let me screenshot this and send it back to him because this is a bit problematic. So it feels really weird when I have to like challenge them on these module quizzes and stuff like that. They really should be doing this themselves. They really should be like testing these out themselves and going, okay, you know, are you guys actually stating this outright in your topic? No, you haven't. So, um, so, um, in the previous topic, there is no mention that um, the configuration settings doesn't allow for all users. So when I see administrators, managers, and users, that typically covers a lot. But you don't outright state that it doesn't really require all. Please update the topic with this um, detail. Okay, so I'm gonna assume that it's the third one because it shouldn't matter for the user or the name of each user, okay? Because, you're just caring about, the roles. That's it. You don't need to worry about the names. So the first one is completely pointless. You shouldn't have to worry about that at all, okay? So the third one should be like the only other correct answer here. So, all right, second one. In which of the two scenarios might you use configuration settings to simplify deployment? Changing the cost of a specific item in the list of products. Okay, maybe. Determine which process and flow is followed based on the change in value. Sure. Setting the name of the work queue used in the flow. I don't think you need to worry about that. Grouping related business functions from more than one application. I don't think you need to worry about that one either. So these two? Okay, apparently not. Um, you do not need configuration settings to change the values of an element of a list. Well, I guess not. Um, you're not changing the values themselves, so um, but I they didn't talk about work queue at all in that last topic. I guess grouping related business functions from more than one application, I guess. But why, I really wouldn't know. It's like, hmm, I don't know why that you would really want to do that. Especially seeing it's like, wait, why does it matter that you want to group related business functions from more than one application for to simplify a deployment? Especially if you're just trying to deploy one particular application. What's the point of having the fourth one there? Hmm. I don't know. We'll go next and move on. Which of the following security scenarios do configuration settings support? A user who is assigned top secret clearance can write and delete configuration settings, while a user who is assigned secret clearance can only read configuration settings. No, that is incorrect. A user can enter an address in the shipping address field only if the user first selects a shipping type from the radio button list. Okay, maybe I guess. The client can view their personally identifying information. Does it really? You need to have configuration settings to handle that? I don't think you sh I don't think you do. Manager can read and write configuration settings where a user can only read configuration settings. I mean, that's true right there. So, and I'm assuming that's the correct answer. Yeah. Um, these answers are really very, they really feel very different to me in terms of what they're actively stating. Like this one is actually talking about like, modifying, the fields and stuff like that within a form, and it's like, well, doesn't the configuration settings have some form of way of doing that? It's like, hmm, I don't know. Okay, we'll finish. Okay, I did not pass. Hmm. Okay, let's try this again, shall we? Um, let's see. Let's see. Right, I tried this one. Okay, hold on. This is the only this is the only one that is viable in this. So we'll come back to this in just a bit. But that's apparently the right answer there. Um, um, all right. Okay, should be 100%. Yep, okay. We got another one here. So can use configuration settings to change components of a flow that may change as business needs change, including name and threshold values. But yet you can't change the cost of a specific item. That seems a little odd there. I'm not quite sure what's going on there, but let's look at their determine which process in a flow should be followed. If approval is needed based on monetary limit, for example, you can use a configuration setting to maintain monetary limit amounts so that the number can be changed without modifying any code. Okay, this one is again very problematic and confusing because nowhere in the topic did they talk about being able to set the name of a work queue. And it says here changing the cost of a specific item in a list of products, but it's like hey, maintain the monetary limit amount so that the number can be changed without modifying any code. It's like, isn't that right there the same as this in a way? Now they say that you can't change you know, a value in a list, but I mean, this is saying that the limit amount can be changed, so maybe their distinction is the fact that it's a list that you can't change, but why can you not change a value in a list but some other arbitrary value? So let's go ahead and capture this here. Screenshot this and send that in. Because that is also one that's like, wait, what are you guys talking about here? Because oh wait, I don't want to replace my old screenshots. I want to save each of them independently. So if I ever have to like go back to them at some point in time in the future that I can. So okay. Okay. So let's see. I feel the second answer here is a bit too vague. Um, the topic itself talked about changing values within the flow, which seem like it would direct me towards the fourth answer, which is apparently incorrect somehow. Um, um, the topic doesn't really discuss being able to change components within a flow. Just which, let me, just which process in the flow to follow. That's it. So I would recommend a revisit on this particular section of the topic and maybe add more to it so I'm not confused in the future and no one else is either. All right. Well, that's going to be it for this. Again, it's like there's times where it's like, wait, what? Um, I often wonder, like, if I got hit with these kind of questions on my certification exam, where they're basically saying, "Hey, you should have learned this," and it's like, well, you never stated it outright at all in anywhere. You know, like, how am I supposed to know these answers really specifically if you've never really talked about it? But the problem is that I don't have, I don't have like everything like memorized. I can't like, I don't have that kind of memory where I can like look at every single page that I just covered and be able to like, be able to, verbatim like recall like every single word that was made in all these topics, all these challenges that I've gone through. So unfortunately, I don't have that kind of memory to fall back upon when I go and take the certification exam. So like during the certification exam, if they throw in a question where it's like, hey, um, you know, um, you know, uh, what was it? Um, you know, there must be an existing configuration set or something like that. It's like, but you never stated that outright, you know. So, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, you know, there's only so much that you can um, make an educated guess on. If you don't know the correct answer, it's like, okay, you can try to make an educated guess on some of these, but at the same time, my educated guesses were wrong in this particular case. So because I read something about, like, hey, you can change values. I'm like, okay, great, I can change values, so therefore I can change the value on a list. Wrong. It's like, wait, what? That's where it's like, sometimes I see that, and it's like, it can be so frustrating at times, trying to deal with that. So that's why, the studying for the Pega certification exam is critical. Make sure that you are very much aware of what you might be dealing with when you get to the certification exam. But that's going to be it for today's Pega certification. Um, we did our topic here. We will go ahead and move on to um, the challenge tomorrow. I still have not received any email back concerning localizing the UI form. The fact that I'm still having difficulty with that. Um, they haven't addressed it yet, so I don't know what's going on there. And then after we're done with the one challenge, then we have the mission exercise and the mission test. And obviously those will take a long time. I will let Blackheart know that, when I do the Pega certifications for both of those, I will most likely not be able to do Unreal afterwards, because it will most likely take 3 hours to get through this. So, um, as well as the mission test, 1 hour, 30 minutes. Probably going to be taking a lot of time on that one as well. So I'll let them know that, that's coming up here, you know, pretty soon. If I do the challenge tomorrow, then on Sunday I'll probably be doing the mission exercise, and then on Monday I'll probably be doing the mission test. So if everything works out perfectly fine, but might not. We'll see. But I'll let him. I'll keep him informed on that. So he's aware of what's going on. So he won't be get caught blindsided by that. But that's going to be it for today's Pega certification study session. So I hope that you enjoyed that. We're going to go ahead and shut down the recording here really soon. But before I do that, I hope that you can give a like and subscribe. Help me out with the YouTube algorithm. That would be fantastic. Um, leave some comments, leave some constructive criticism, leave some answers to my questions. Whatever, you know, or maybe just mention, like, hey, you're working through your certification exam yourself, and you've been appreciating what I've been doing here as well. So I welcome any positive comments along those lines as well. So, but that's going to be it for tonight. So thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. Hopefully I catch you next time. Until then, take care. Have a good night. Stay healthy. Stay safe. I'll catch you strangers next time.